Hello and welcome to another video of mine. This is Dr. Mahmoud Al-Odeh. We're talking in this video about service development and improvement, how we could create a new service and how we could improve it. In this particular video, we'll be talking about one of the tools that we use it for service development. In order to start, let's take a look into this chart, which basically this chart will show you how to develop a new service. These are the phases that will help you to develop a new phases. The first one, the first phase would be just having an idea, something that unique in the market. No one done it before, and this will help you to be unique and different. Also, this could be something based on the need for the area. If you live in an area and you're familiar with the businesses in an area and you think one of the unique ideas would fit into that area, that would work. Another way for doing idea generation would be brainstorming with a team. You sit with your team and you start brainstorming and organize these ideas, and maybe you give some priorities and highlight some of these important ideas for implementation. So this is the first number one, which is having an idea. Next would be concept planning, which in the concept planning phase is we need to look into a high level concept. We need to look into the process map. And one of the things that we use in this phase right here, the concept planning, is called the blueprinting. So the topic for this video is about blueprinting, and this blueprinting is going to be in this phase, concept planning. This is just a high level detail. We're not going to look into a lot of details, just the basic of how the service will look like. And now, another thing that we need to look into the next phase, the service development. And in this phase, we need to look into more details, such as the segmentations that we need to do, what segment of the customers that we need to target, what are the SWOT analysis, the strength, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We need to look into quality, for example. So we're looking into more details. What's the details that entail with that particular service. And then once we have all the strategy layout and the SWOT analysis and the position in the market, you move on to the business concept. In the business concept, basically you will look into something related to marketing, branding, and sales. You need to create some plans for marketing and having a brand for your service. And the last phase, which is the implementation phase, which is making your service available to the customers. And these are basically what are the phases of developing new services. Of course, there's so many details, especially at the second phase, third phase, and fourth phase. There are so many details. The most details exist in the service development phase. As I mentioned, we have to look for a strategy that align with our goals as a company, looking for SWOT analysis, segmentation of the market, life cycle of the market as well. So these are the details. We did discuss that in a previous video. Take a look into that as well to know more details about what the details that you have to have before you launch your business. All right, now let's talk about the blueprinting. And what is a blueprinting? Developing a new service based on the subjective ideas contained in the service concept can lead to costly trial and error efforts to translate the concept into reality. So what I'm saying here, it's really hard to test an idea. It could be a very costly if you implement something and you're not sure about it. So you have to you need to forecast the success of your project. You need to have as many details as you can before you launch your business, before you launch your service. And this is, again, that could be, if you did not have enough details, that could be translate into costly trial and error efforts. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Service mapping, or what we call the blueprinting. So whether a map or blueprinting, it's the same name, is a tool for drawing the service process, for creating the service process, the points of customer contact, and the evidence of service from the customer point of view. So what we need to do here, we need to create the customer contact. We need to look into the evidence. We look into something from behind the scene as well, and we create it all in one picture. So what is a blueprinting? It's a picture, an image of how the service will look like, and you start with the evidence, physical evidence, something that the customer can touch, and then what the activity that the customer do, and then the contact line, and then we'll talk about the front stage, and then we'll talking about the backstage and the some supportive. There will be a slide here in just a second that will show you what the blueprint should look like. But just an overview, what does a blueprint look like? It's a map, it's a process map that show you all the activities in that service. All right. Now, why we need it? Why do we need the blueprint application? Where we do use it? First of all, we use it when we develop a new service, and it will be very helpful to develop a new concept. Market testing, you will be able to test some of the concept that you have. Also, it is important to reach to a zero defects culture, which is you want to ensure the reliability. And this is really important because quality in service, it's a real time thing versus production. Production, if you do quality, you could, make a product, and if it's did not fit the specification requirements, then you could maybe adjust the process. Behind the scene, this is the customer did not see it in a production. However, in the service, it is it's a live thing. The customer is experiencing that thing. And this is one of the thing is we use the blueprinting to reach to the zero defects. And also we use it for empowerment activities such as hiring. If we need to write a job description, we need to know exactly a person of that job who's working on that job, what's the detail. So that will give you a better idea on uh, what activities i- what activities in that process. Also, another thing that we use it for service recovery strategies. We need to identify service problems. So this blueprint or map will show you some of the issues in the process. Some it will show you some root causes of issues. So you will go back and develop it. And then what you do, you have to chance to modify the process. So it is a good way to use these maps in blueprinting to modify a process. There are several applications, as I mentioned. It could be used by human resources. Blueprinting could be used by human resources for job description, selection criteria, and something like this. So this is important, can be used by human resources, could be used by system technology, such as providing the specification and more details, such as the preference databases. Service marketers could be using the blueprint uh, for service system design. They want to design a system to create a realistic customer experience. Also, operations managers could use it to look into areas to improve and areas to for quality improvement and quality control. And pointing out the failure point. There were some points in the system can be considered as a fail points. Now, before we go ahead and talk about the blueprinting, I'm going to talk about the strategic positioning through the process structure. So if you look into the process structure, it is, first of all, what is a process? A process is anything that you have an input, add a value to it, and going to give you an output. You buy meat, for example, you cook it, and that will be a steak that you serve it to a customer. So the process structure, how we could structure the process, could be a one way to understand how to improve the process. So looking into the structure is important. Looking into the process structure is important because that will help you to improve it. And there are two things that I could mention to you. One is the degree of complexity of the process. How complex is the process? And this is measured by the number of steps in the service blueprint. So you count how many steps. The lower steps, the easier, the simple process. Also, another measure that we use in the process structure, it's called the standardization. How standardize this process. So, for example, if you go to a chain like McDonald's or Burger King, they have a specific process on how to serve their food. However, this, if you go to a local restaurant, a small business restaurant, it could be flexible. They could adjust their needs, adjust their service to your need as a customer. So it is important to look into the process improvement from the structure of a process, whether the degree of complexity or the degree of standardization. Here's an example on the complexity for a restaurant. So if you look into this restaurant, this is the current process. And if we need to make it a higher complex or lower complex with a high standardization, more standardization. Um, so if you look into the current process, you will see that the tick reservation, if you want to make it more complex, you could make a specific table selection, or you could make it, if you want to make it less complex, you'd say no reservation, just, help yourself. Whenever you come, just enter and just select a seat. Also would be for the current process is the seating process, the seat of the guest and given a menu. If we need to make it a simple thing, it's self-seating. Whenever you find a table, you go there and help yourself. If we need to make it a high complex, we could say, all right, well, let's have an employee to welcome the customers uh, and select a good table for them. So we could do that. Similar to other options such as the salad, for example, instead of offering four choices, maybe no salads, no choices at all. Maybe we could, if we need to make it a more complex process, we could customize the salad individually prepared at the table. This is something that you could do to increase the complexity of your business. Entry could be 15 choices right now in the current process, but however, you could limit that to only four choices. You could do that. And this also, if you need to make it complex, you could make it 20 choices and so on. So you could read these. There's one way to lower the complexity and another way to higher the complexity. And the same thing for standardization, how you need to make your process even less standardized or more standardized. Less standardized means flexibility in your process. More standardized means no flexibility in your process. All right, going to the blueprint here. What is the blueprint? As I mentioned, it's a map. So this is the map that we're talking about. You want to create a map for your process and showing each activity in this map. And this is will consist, these are the component, physical evidence, and these are things that the customer will be able to see, will be able to touch, such as if we're talking about a restaurant, for example, you will see that a table is a physical evidence. So the customers will be sitting on a table. That's a physical thing. Customer action, how the customer look at your service from their perspective. There is a line, this is really important, the line of interaction. This is where the customer will interact with the front desk. So this is the front desk right here. The employee that taken an action. These are the people who will be serving these customers. And this fine line would be the interaction line. This, as I mentioned, this stage right here is the contact, the front desk, and this is the line of visibility. The line of visibility is whatever from here to here that the customer can see. These are the things that the customer can see. Uh, Again, all the activities here are seen by customer. Activities in here are not seen by customer. This is can be seen, and these are not seen, hidden from the customer. And what we see in the hidden customer, could be backstage the backstage activities and supporting process, what the things that will support uh, material. And line of internal interaction, there could be another line for the uh, interaction. line of internal interaction where the backstage can be interacting with the supporting processes. So looking into this here, you will see here's an example of blueprint for hotel overnight stay. In what you see, look at these elements. So when you create a blueprint for your service, you have to create something like this. You look into the physical evidence. The customer will be able to see the hotel itself, the exterior of the hotel, the parking lot, and that will be when at arrival at the hotel. This is what the process from the customer perspective. Cart for bags. This is also seen by the customer. When is that? Given bags to bill person. This is seen evidence seen by the customer, and this is what the customer will do. Arrive the hotel, gives back to bill person, check in, go to room. Okay, so we're talking about process map here basically from a customer perspective. Okay, and after check-in, they go to the room. Then, and once they go to the room, they will receive the bags, and then they will be maybe sleep or take a shower, and then they will call room service if needed, and then to order a food, and then they will receive a food, they will eat, and then check out and leave. So this is kind of a sample, a symbol, a process for a hotel from a customer perspective. And as I mentioned here, this is the customer, what the customer see, and here it's the evidence, the physical evidence, which basically the customer exterior, the card, the disc registration, papers, lobby, and keys, elevator when they go to the room. So this is assigned to each step of these. So the easy way to create your blueprint is start with a customer perspective, what the customer will see, and then go back to the physical evidence. Okay, for example, in the check-in, what they do, what they see the disc, they see the registration papers, lobby, and they will see the key. When they go to the home, to the room. When they go to the room, they will see elevator, hallways, room, and they could be able to once they go to receive their bag, they will see the cart for bags. And once they go to sleep or take a shower, what they say, they will see the room amenities such as the bath, the beds, etc. If they call the customer service, the thing that they will carry in their hand would be the menu. When they receive the food, that would be what they say. They will be delivering tray food, an appearance of the people who serving the food. Uh, once they eat, what they see physical thing, it's the food. And when they check out, they will see the bill, desk, lobby, hotel exterior, and parking as well. Now for the and this is the visibility line. As you see, this is the line that I'm sorry, this is the interact line, as we said here, the end line of interaction. So this is the line of interaction. And this is the front desk. This is the on stage, the people who contacting the customer, greet and take bags, process. So what you do, you look into each of these processes. You go, okay, process one, do we have any rule for the front desk to interact with the customer? If your business, yes, maybe somebody will direct people to park their cars in the right place. Then maybe it's something you want to put something here and create something on stage where people will direct people to the parking lot. Give bags to bill person. So what would be happen here? There will be great and take the bags. When we check in, we will do the process for registration. And there's nothing when we go to the room. There's no need for interaction. When they receive the bag, there is what will happen. They will deliver the bags. It is important that when we have a loop here, so when we take the lab from here, when we take the bags from here, from this step, we greet and take the bags, and here take the bags to the room. So there's an internal process that goes, something that no one knows about it. This is the backstage. We don't know where it's happened and what they'd use. They might use a different elevator than the ones that you used. And then all you see is when you as a customer receive the bags. So there could be, what I'm saying is there could be a process coming from here, going to this, going to this, and now this. So this is another process that we should include it in the blueprint. And then sleep and shower, there's nothing, there's interact, nothing at all. cold room service, what happened, there's nothing on the stage, basically, other than backstage, they will be receiving the food order. They will prepare. So this is something that we should talk about, it, which is the support process. They need to prepare the food. So the raw material of food, they will bring it, cook it, and then they send it to deliver the food. And once they receive the food, once they deliver the food, this is where they receive the food. And same thing here for the next step, which is eat. There's nothing, just the customer himself or herself, there's nothing need to be interact with or anything. On the checkout, what we do the process checkout, and this could be something to support the process, would be the registration system, as well as we have it here when we did the check-in. We need support from the registration system itself. Something that we could add to the blueprint, it's the time. It is important to look into the time for each step. So here's another blueprint with some times in here. This is the line of visibility, as you see, the blue line. And what you see, this is the customer see, brush shoes, apply, polish. This is the process. This is the process. And the process will take like this: brush shoes, apply, polish, buff, and collect payment. And you do some time studies. That could take you 30 seconds of brush the shoes, 30 seconds for apply the polish, 45 seconds for buffing the shoes, and collect the payment will take 15 seconds. So ideally would be the execution time would be 2 minutes based on this blueprint. However, should be we should consider the fail point. This is important because you need to do the quality improvement, and this is where could be you need to identify where are the process, where are the steps that could be we could make some mistakes here. And this is the point that we're having. It could be a mistake happen here, which is wrong color wax could happen. And this, if that's happened, what we should do, we have to correct that by cleaning the shoes again, and then apply the polish. And this is seen also by customer as well. And that could take 45 minutes. And you can put some specification limits, which is the tolerances. So the total of acceptance or the total acceptable execution time would be 5 minutes. Just something to consider that. As a supporting, not seen by customer and backstage, that would be the supplies and supporting the material. Select and purchase the supply. This is not seen, and to provide the material. So this is something to consider. Now, in order to summarize all what we said, in order to do these in 8 steps, to create your blueprint, you need these 8 steps. Number 1, identify the process. What process do you need to create a blueprint for it? Second, identify the customer. What customer you're trying to serve. Number 3, map the process from the customer point of view. So we need to consider ourselves as a customer and look into that as a customer point of view. And then create the process, map contact. Once we created the process from the customer here, from the customer perspective on step 3, and then you go and map contact employees in action on stage and backstage. So what is the things related to the customer map in terms of the front desk and the backstage as well? And also what we need to do, we need to link customer, that's in step number 5. We link customer and contact person activities to the needed support function. And number 6, add evidence of service at each customer action. So see what is the evidence that the customer will see, touch, and that would be the evidence in step 6. Number 7, once you created all this map, look into fail points, isolate these fail points and create some action correction plan. And the last step would be maybe establish some time frames that will help you to create some quality control in your process. All right, well, that's all I have for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in another video on service process improvement and development. See ya.